so much for watching. I'm Andrea Morgan, and I am here with Bill Worth, and he is here to talk about his book, Outwitting Multiple Sclerosis. So, Bill, why don't you take it away for me?
Well, the book is about my 28-year journey with MS, and it began. I have to take you back to 1989 when I was living on Maui previously with my wife Nancy. We owned and operated a weekly newspaper in Lahaina, Maui, and I was having terrible headaches on the left side of my head, and eventually lost the vision in my left eye temporarily.
Oh, wow.
So I went to a neurologist, of course, and he prescribed an MRI for me. And there was only one MRI machine in the whole state of Hawaii at the time. It was in Honolulu, so I had to jump on a plane and go to Honolulu and get the test. And so here we are. I'm back in the neurologist's office, and he has the MRI film, the old film. Now they do it with CD. It's the old film up on a light box in his office. And he calls me over and he says, Mr. Worth, I want you to look at your brain here and see these bright spots here, 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 and here.
Oh, gosh.
Says, those are lesions, and your brain has been damaged. And I regret to tell you that it's pretty clear that you have multiple sclerosis. And for whatever reason, I looked him right in the eye at the time, and I said, well, Doc, you say that I have MS, and I say that MS does not have me.
Wow.
And he said, that's a great attitude. He said, just go ahead and live your life the best you can. And I said, okay. And I walked out of his office and I never saw him again. I never took any of the meds that were prescribed for MS at the time because they were had very bad side effects. And so I just was determined to meet this disease on my own. And I basically changed my diet, got better exercise, and I had just begun studying Unity ministry, and I began attending the Unity Church on Maui, so I engaged in a meditation practice that helped, and so I've been doing all that for 28 years, and I'm still relatively healthy. I have some minor effects of the disease, but I'm certainly not in a wheelchair, not in a walker, and so I'm really pretty good, all things considered. And so that's the book, Outwitting Multiple Sclerosis, is my 28-year journey with this disease. And what I discovered later was that forgiveness practice, my forgiveness practice, was critical to dealing with this disease. And so I spent a lot of time reading about forgiveness, a lot of time in intense meditation, learning how to forgive myself first and others in my life who I felt had perhaps done me wrong. So that's basically what the book's about. And so the truth is that I do have MS. I don't deny that. I'm not cured of MS, but I certainly am healed of the effects of MS. So although I have MS, it's clear to me that MS does not have me, and that's what this book is all about.
Awesome. Awesome. So your book has been reviewed by some pretty big people, and I understand you have an interview with Christiane Northrop?
Yes, I do. It's on June 21st. I don't quite remember the time, except for me, it's 5 o'clock in the morning. So because she lives in Maine, and the program is, I don't know what the program must be on 11 o'clock Eastern time. So that's 5 o'clock Maui time, and so I'll be up, and it'll be a radio interview, so I don't have to look good, and I look as good as I can look. That's so yes, and I'm excited about that. I have a couple of other radio interviews that I'm in conversation about having, and that will occur after I have the one with Christiane Northrop. And Christiane wrote a wonderful endorsement for my book. It's on the front cover, and so I'm excited to talk to her.
Awesome. What does that review say?
Well, I'll read it to you.
Okay.
It says, Outwitting Multiple Sclerosis is one of the very best accounts I've ever read about what it takes to heal from illness. Any illness, really, not just MS. Beautifully written and intensely honest, Bill's account is a must-read for anyone who is ready to truly heal. Christiane Northrup is a medical doctor, an OB/GYN physician, and best-selling author, particularly with women's issues. So she likes it, and I appreciate that.
Awesome. So what inspired you to write this book? Was there a certain event that happened that defined you, that made you think, wow, I have to write a book about my experiences? Or was there a person that you wanted to teach that you saw going through the same things?
So obviously, what has happened in my life is I've attracted a lot of people to me who have MS or who know people who have MS, and I really felt strongly that I needed to write about forgiveness, because I don't know that that's really it's not a prescribed drug for MS patients, but I really felt it's necessary for me to do that. And particularly, I've had relationship challenges with women all my life. I've been married 4 times, but my wife Nancy and I have just recently celebrated our 35th wedding anniversary. So I began reviewing what I needed to forgive myself for, and that's why I wrote the book.
Awesome. Well, first of all, congratulations on your 35th anniversary.
Yeah, thanks.
And tell me a little bit about your background. So, from what I understand, you have a journalism background.
Right.
What did it look like researching for this book?
Well, let me get into my background. I have 2 degrees in journalism. One journalism, a bachelor's degree in journalism, and a master's degree in journalism and education. I began my journalism career as an education writer, and then I got into management, newspaper management in Dayton, Ohio, and eventually ended up being managing editor, which was the top newsroom executive of both the Dayton daily newspapers. And then I quit. And when Nancy and I came to Maui and bought this little failing newspaper and built it up and into a weekly, and
wow,
and great success with that. And it was so successful that the daily newspaper on Maui, the Maui News, noticed our success and offered to buy us out. And Nancy had applied for ministerial school, Unity Seminary, which is outside Kansas City. And so we were preparing to leave Maui when I was diagnosed with MS. And so when we left Maui, went from Maui to Missouri. What's wrong with this picture? And so we spent 2 years in Missouri while she was in school. And her first church was in Florida. And during those 2 years, I was only employed part-time. So I had a lot of time to think about writing. I've always wanted to write a book. And that's when I wrote the first draft of my novel, House of the Sun, which I call a metaphysical novel of Maui. And so that's when I wrote that first draft. And her first church was in Florida, Tallahassee, Florida. So we moved to Florida. And I became, while she was in school, I studied Unity at Unity Village. I took classes that you could take without becoming a minister. And so I got very involved in Unity, and I recognized that was my spiritual path.
Mm-hmm.
And I explored other spiritual paths before that, but Unity was the one that resonated with me. So that's what I chose. And eventually, I applied and was accepted to ministerial school myself. So in 1994, I had to leave beautiful Tallahassee, Florida, and go back to Missouri to study for 2 years. And now there were breaks in between, so I could come home periodically, but short term. And so I became a Unity minister myself in 1996, and joined her. As co-minister of the church she started in Florida, in Tallahassee. And then we moved to Austin, Texas, where
All
we
right.
live.
Yes.
And we were there for, she was there for 3 years and then got recruited to go to a big Unity church in a suburb of Atlanta. And I stayed on an extra 6 months to help Unity Church of Austin in its search for a new minister. So I then went to Atlanta, was an associate minister. She was my boss. And so I was associate minister there until 2009. And I thought, well, I'd been in ministry for 13 years, and I really wanted to write. And so I retired, quote unquote, and started writing this other novel, The Hidden Life of Jesus Christ, a memoir. And it's a very controversial book because it's a very interesting look at Jesus.
Okay.
And I wrote that and published it eventually, and then we ordered to Bellevue, Washington, and where she became senior minister of Unity at Bellevue. Now, I was not on the payroll there. I did not do much work, although I did a lot of volunteer work. So I began thinking about what is the next book that I should write. And I said, well, let's write a sequel to House of the Sun. And I said, no, that's not what's calling me right now. So what called me was this book, Outwitting Multiple Sclerosis. And the subtitle is How Forgiveness Helped Me Heal My Brain by Changing My Mind. And so I make it real clear in the book that I'm not cured of MS, but I feel that I'm healed of that disease, and because forgiveness allowed me to go through that process. So I've been a journalist, a Unity minister, an editor, and I edit book manuscripts for a book publisher, and that's a contract job. I do it, piecemeal, and a novelist.
Awesome.
So that's kind of been my history.
Well, wonderful.
That's
awesome. Well, I'm so glad to hear about your book, Outwitting Multiple Sclerosis, and it obviously has some really rave reviews. So thank you so much for joining us today, Bill. And to all of you out there, you can find Bill's author page on goread.com, and be sure to fan his page and buy his book, Outwitting Multiple Sclerosis. Thank you so much, Bill.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
As we say in Hawaii, mahalo.
Mahalo. Or aloha. Aloha. Bye.